Most people don't know what's holding them back, but you do because you listen to me, Sam, your self-care guru and journal junkie. Welcome to Journal Entries, your safe place where you can tune in weekly to get tips, tricks, and journal prompts to uncover your feelings, gain clarity, and make your move. Hello, welcome back to Journal Entries. Today we are going back to the first version of Journal Entries where I was actually sharing with you what I was uncovering in my journal because I had a really profound entry the other day that I wanted to share with you. I was actually following somebody else's journal prompts from kind of like a meditation visualization session regarding the lunar eclipse. And they were pretty basic journaling prompts about where do you want to be in 1 year? How do you see yourself? How does that feel? And then a specific feeling came up for me that I've honestly never felt before. Well, I've felt this feeling before, but I never thought about it in this way. And I kind of put a little pin next to it. Actually, I put a star next to it since it was in my journal. And I came back to it because I was like, there's something here that I want to uncover. So I think this is going to be interesting to share with you because not only are you going to get to hear my revelation, but you're also going to get to hear how I get that little tug in my heart of like, there's something here, and how I actually uncover it, how I process something that feels like it's a big emotion or a big situation or just like something's there, something's deeper. Right? Okay, so let's get into it. So the prompts initially were, like I said, where do you want to be 1 year from now? And I came up with something quick. I just said, I want to be living in a new home. I want a barn door for my office. I just love those barn doors. So I envisioned that. I said open space and windows in the living room for open play and a Christmas tree. That's another thing that I can vividly picture is like just big windows in the front of my living room and a Christmas tree. I think because that's how the house that I grew up in was like that. Then the second prompt was, what feelings does that trigger in you or inspire in you? And I thought about that, which is nothing new. Because when you talk about manifesting or just whatever you desire, the key thing is always feelings. And I've taught this before, but the most interesting feeling popped up first for me, which was proud. I would feel really proud to have this home. And I underlined that twice. And then I wrote other ones like secure, happy, fulfilled. And then another prompt was, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then the last prompt was, who do you need to become in order to fulfill this? And one of the things that I said of who you need to become, I put, start feeling proud of myself now. And this trend of pride was something that I've never thought of. And that I think was why it was so interesting to me. So then I left myself a couple spaces and I put, am I proud of myself? And that was really my question. I realized that when I said that pride was the feeling that I wanted to feel, and that in order to become this version, I needed to feel proud of myself now and on a daily basis. I've never questioned, do I feel proud of what I've accomplished? And I think that it's a really important question that we all ask ourselves because it matters. It matters how we see ourselves. And it could be the reason why you feel stuck or why you are in indecision, why you're not making moves. You're not asking yourself the hard questions, or you haven't even stopped to think about how you feel about your life now. If you're proud of the decisions that you're making, and if you're not, why? So back to my journal entry. After I wrote, am I proud of myself? I thought about it. I just paused. There's so much wisdom that comes through in the pause. And I wrote down, my parents always said that they were proud of me. So when I think of being proud of myself, I think of my parents. And then I wrote, I especially remember hearing it when I was at college. In my head, that was just silly and kind of going off of my journal now. But college was what I was expected to do. I was not that I was like told you need to go to college, but it was almost told, it was just expected. Like you go to high school and then you go to college. And so when I would come home on college breaks and they would say, I'm so proud of you, I honestly felt a little bit confused. Like, why would you be proud of this? You told me to do this. Like, this was expected. And then even after college, I got a corporate job at a really good company at General Electric. And again, my parents would say that they were proud of me. And again, I was confused because I grew up being taught and told to go to school, go to college, get a degree, get a good paying job. That was just what you did. And so I did it. And the fact that they were proud of me, I just felt like, thanks. It felt nice, even though there were definitely challenging parts about going to college and navigating roommate situations. That was probably the hardest, if I'm being honest. It was just something that I didn't necessarily feel proud. It more so felt like I was complying. So that's what I summed up in my journal entry. And then it hit me. I wrote down, I started to become proud of myself when I made my own choices. And I clarified choices that went against what anyone expected. So I recognized that going to college was my choice. The specific college I went to was my choice. Where I worked was my choice. But pride came into the picture when my choices were against the norm, against the what anybody else expected. And I wrote down divorce, single parenting, journal coaching, Beachbody with the network marketing company I used to work for. Those are the things that I feel truly proud of, to the point where, especially like single parenting, this is so hard. If I really get in my feels about it, I could cry over the fact of how proud I am of myself of doing this. And the other day I was thinking, maybe it was even the day that I wrote this journal entry, I was thinking about how 5 years from now, 10 years from now, this is a season of life where I just am doing it. You know, like when you're faced with something, you just get through it. But in 5 to 10 years, I feel like I'm going to look back on this season of my life and realize how hard it was, how I'm literally building a business from scratch when my son isn't sleeping and when I'm the only one to take care of him 24/7. And I am such an involved parent and I'm doing my own healing work. I think in 10 years, I'm going to be like, holy shit. Like, how did I not see it? How did I not give myself more credit back then? I just had this moment of kudos to you, current Sam. Anyways, this is the stuff that I feel proud about. And then I kind of started picturing of my son, Griffin. And I wrote down education was so valued in my family. So I do see why my parents did feel proud. And thinking of my son going through school, if he chooses to go to college or going to trade school or getting a job, I would also be proud. I would also be saying, I'm so proud of you for doing these things. But I wrote down, I want him to know that I'm not actually proud of him going to school, going to college, getting the job. It's not that I'm proud of. I want him to know that I'm proud of his follow through on whatever he chooses to pursue. So that was a really clear distinction that came through for me of, it's not that, of course, I want to guide him on, a path to success, but I also want to keep it open so that he gets to feel like at a certain age and a certain point in time, he does get to decide what he wants to do. And as long as he is following through on that and, quote unquote, staying on a good path, I will be proud of that. I then wrote down, I'm not proud of complying and doing what was expected. I'm proud of having my own ideas and desires and committing to it and to my growth. And then I wrapped up this journal entry saying, I'm building this journal coaching business in the years when Griffin was 10 months old, to sleepless nights and meltdowns and now discovering himself. And I wake up every day pursuing my vision of helping women feel proud of themselves. So I guess that was kind of when I did the fast forward to 10 years from now and realized, holy shit. But that is truly what I desire for you, is to wake up and feel proud of what you are accomplishing in life and who you are, the type of mom you are, what you do for work, how you show up, and the role model that you are for your kids, and what you are instilling in your kids. It's more than just being present and playing the board games with your kids. It's the lessons that you're sharing with them, either verbally, but also just by doing what you're doing, by going through the actions. I recorded a podcast, which will be aired in a couple months probably, but it was with a woman who is an author, and she talks about kids' emotions as well as parents' emotions, and how parents often want to instill emotional regulation in their kids and teach them how to, calm down from anger or these big emotions. And we'll say things like, let's take some deep breaths, or we'll even go to the extent of creating a calm corner in a room. And we can say until we're blue in the face, breathe in the roses and blow out the candles, or go to the calm corner and read a book until you feel better, or whatever. But if they don't see us taking deep breaths in the moment, or us going to the calm corner, or us reading instead of being on our phones, they're not going to do it. It's going to be one of those situations where they're doing it because we told them to. It's not going to be intrinsic, where they believe that this is something that will help them in the long run, where years from now, when they feel upset, it's something that they turn to. Thinking of some journaling prompts, think about your daily habits. Are you proud of those? Or are there some tweaks that you could do to start to feel proud of them? Think about what you do for work. Are you proud? Or are there some tweaks that you could do at your job so that you feel proud of showing up and doing your work every single day? And that will help you even feel more fulfilled. Are you proud of your body? Are you proud of how you move and exercise and fuel with nutrition? Are you proud of the relationship that you have with your partner? There are so many different areas of your life that you can feel proud. And I don't think that this is about perfection. Nothing in life is about perfection. So I hope that you're not taking from this that you need to start working out, you need to start eating vegetables, you need to start doing your own quiet time so that your kids see this, you need to start going out on dates with your partner so that you're prioritizing that, you need to start doing all of these things. That's not what this is about. What this is about, first and foremost, is simply questioning what makes you proud. Understanding that. For myself, knowing that the decisions that are truly mine make me the most proud, not just complying or going along with the norm or going along with the rest of the people, make me proud, simply tells me that when I'm in a position to make a decision, to truly listen to what I want. And if that's a decision that everybody else in the world would make, that's fine. Knowing that it was my choice would make me proud. So what does that look like for you? And then applying it to your life. This was one of those journal entries that I couldn't stop thinking about after I wrote about it. I kept thinking about it days afterwards, and I thought, this needs to become a podcast episode, because if it hit me so hard, I'm curious if it resonates with any of my listeners. If it does, and if you would like more guidance on this, especially if you're feeling stuck and you're not feeling proud of yourself, you're not feeling fulfilled, you're not feeling like you are that version of yourself that you want to be, and when you picture yourself in 1 year, that seems so unattainable. Or when you picture yourself in 5 years, it's almost defeating because you feel so far from that. I know what that feels like. And so if you're in that space, I would love to help you. I still am opening up private coaching intensives where it's only 6 weeks of working together compared to my 6 months of private coaching. And in those 6 weeks, we are going to get straight to the root of how you're currently feeling, what it is that you want, and connect the dots. We're going to create that path for you. We're going to identify who it is that you need to become. What are the things that you need to build within yourself? What do you need to release? And then how do you actually do those things? What sabotage patterns are coming into play? What people in your life are controlling emotions inside of you, and how can we cut that free? Not necessarily cutting the people out of your life, but cutting those attachments to you. What expectations are you living your life by that no longer serve you? And maybe you picked them up from childhood. They never were meant to serve you in adulthood, but you've never even stopped to question it. And it's not your fault. It's simply that you grew up and you were taught to just stay busy and get married and have kids and go to the job and do activities with your kids and just wake up every day and do, not pause and reflect and from time to time question how you're feeling and what you want out of life. So if that sounds of interest to you, fill out the form in the show notes. It's a questionnaire just so that I can learn a little bit more about you. And then I will reach out to you within 24 hours with all of the details, pricing, and answer all of your questions. If you loved this episode, feel free to screenshot it and share it in your Instagram or Facebook stories and tag me. I love seeing who's tuning in. And also feel free to rate my show on Spotify. You just click the number of stars that you would rate the episode. Or on Apple, you can rate it with a number of stars and even leave a review if you'd like. Those truly do mean the world to me because it helps my show get more awareness and help reach more women. And it helps me know how you're feeling about the episodes and what you are enjoying the most so that I can talk about those topics more or bring on those types of guests more often. Thank you for tuning in this week. Be sure to tune in on Thursdays for our 5-minute journaling together. Until then, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's journal entry. I love connecting with my listeners, so make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at samantha.s.says so I know you're listening. And don't forget to grab your free training and journal prompts at www.samanthapenkoff.com/podcast.